What's up, Fate family? Jarvis Guy of Warjards YT here, and welcome back to another Diecast review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 2007 Maisto Cherry Picker. Let me just say right off the bat that it was a miracle that I can even find this thing because the name is just so uncreative. I would have thought they would have at least had like a fake brand name like Hot Wheels does sometimes. But no, this is just the Cherry Picker. The naming issue is emblematic of the larger issue with this vehicle is that it's just not particularly creative in any way. I mean, I guess it does have this sort of action feature right here. If it'll let me zoom out, piece of shit. It has this action feature right here where you can raise up the cherry picker and lower it. I mean, okay, that's all well and good. I mean, it's attached well. It doesn't, move side to side in a way that it should, and just goes up and down. And I mean, that's appropriate for what it is. It's a cherry picker. But there is a bit of an issue with it because when you move it up, you see an issue? The actual carriage of the cherry picker is not opposable. This part right here, this is not opposable. So when you move the thing up and down, it's stuck at a weird angle. This is not how real cherry pickers work. And to me, this seems like a weird choice. Because if you're a brand, like Maisto, as quote unquote intelligent as they are, deciding to make a honestly very realistic vehicle like a cherry picker that Hot Wheels would never do. Matchbox probably wouldn't. They'd probably do a much better job at it. But if you're doing like an average car, sort of at a norm for die-cast vehicles, then you would assume if you're going for realism with what the car actually is, then you would assume they'd go for realism in the play features. This had the opportunity to be a very good vehicle. It could have risen above the sort of hindrances that the Maisto brand gives it. And trust me, there are some clear Maisto trademarks here that I'm going to get into. But Cherry Picker, to me, that was just such a poorly done, poorly thought out decision to not have the top part be opposable. And we all know why they did it. Let's not fool ourselves here. This was purely done as a cost-cutting thing. And I say shame on you, Maisto, because you always do this, and it always ends up ruining some aspect of your cars. That's what you're known for. Cutting costs, having cheap vehicles. Tell you what, the plastic on the actual friggin' cherry picker arm is different from the actual metal-like substance that makes up the body of the actual car. So there's a clear mismatch there in terms of material. To me, in real life, it's pretty clear. And when you actually feel on it, it does feel different. And on top of that, getting into the sort of Maisto drawbacks that you see with every car that they produce, the car is of course incredibly light, due to being made with cheap materials and like. So that is expected. You have the cheap tires right here, just feel like plastic. Feel ultra cheap. Just the tires. To me, the tires always seem to be the worst part of Maisto vehicles. They're just always so cheap. It's hard to have any respect for this brand when they clearly don't seem to respect their own products. And to me, that's really disappointing. And of course, as you can see, you have visible indents for the lights up here, but there's no paint on them. And I guess you could say, well, this isn't a premium car, this is a normal Maisto car. Well, they could have at least done the bare minimum, like they did with the 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air. Did some decent paint work on here. They even bothered to paint in the lights. I mean, they didn't do it well, but they at least, bothered to make an attempt to color in the lights, on the front. They didn't really do it for the back, but at least they put in the effort for the front. These jokers made whole indents, for lights and a license plate, and they couldn't even spare one measly modicum of paint to fully go all the way with it, to make this look like a die cast that had at least a little bit of thought put into it. It's just, this entire thing is just a shame to me. And I feel that way about a lot of Maisto cars, and the lack of creativity and poor production quality present in this vehicle is just emblematic of the larger issue with Maisto. They just release poor quality products for prices that are higher than the competition. And I couldn't explain to you why, because I'd much rather buy Hot Wheels, with no articulation, just stock standard, like this here Bully Goat, probably one of the most, generic, average Hot Wheels of all time. I'd literally rather have this and this poorly put together piece of shit, because that's all this is. Nothing more, nothing less. But yeah, moving on to final remarks. Absolutely would not recommend this. I'm not entirely sure why I bought this. Probably so I could just make another review bashing Maisto. And in that sense, I think that this purchase was worth it, because Maisto, they need to be called out for their nonsense. Because they expect people to eat this up. And their competitors are doing so much better. Hot Wheels is just leagues better than them because not only are they the name brand, they're the gold standard, just their production it's just good. It's just good. Their cars feel like they have weight to them. Look at something like Matchbox. They're the kings of detail. They've got it going on. They got the weight and they got high quality, professionally made cars. What does Maisto have? Maisto has an inconsistent scale in their vehicles. They have poor production quality. They have poor articulation features. And this isn't the first time I've seen a Maisto with poor articulation features. We may have to go into that another time. But the only thing I associate Maisto with in my mind is with poor quality. And that's really how it is. I don't know if they can change that perception, but with the niche that they seem to be occupying in the market, I think that's an impossibility at this point. I don't know if they can ever get better, and I'm not sure if it's worth the effort for them to change, because I know people will still buy the shit at the stores, people will still eat this up, and that's something I honestly can't support. I've never bought a Maisto car in the store. I've always gotten them secondhand or as a gift, and I never plan on willingly walking into a store and then buying a Maisto car. And if that ever happens, then I will need an immediate brain scan, because clearly I would have lost my goddamn mind. Same goes for anyone else buying Maisto at this point too. They think you're stupid. They think you'll accept poor quality, just because people have bought into it before. But it's been proven at this point that the other brands, all the other Diecast brands, 164th, 118th, they're just doing a better job than Maisto. And they think they can pull a fast win on consumers. So don't support them. If you love Diecast, don't buy them. But if you're a Maisto collector, even why are you still collecting this? These are garbage. These are garbage, aside from like a select few. Like, again, the 55 Chevrolet Bel Air. This is the only one, that I've seen in a recent while that's actually worthwhile. Not shit like this, don't support this. But either way, again, I don't recommend this. Please don't buy this. Don't support this. And with that diatribe out of the way, that's been my nervous breakdown regarding the 2007 Maisto cherry picker. I hope you all got something out of this video. I hope you're now able to make informed purchase decisions, such as never buying Maisto. And with that, that's all I have to say. Jarvis gotten out. Have a great night. Don't buy Maisto, and go with God.